So I can't remember if it was the last Montreal or Hartford episode where somebody mentioned, hey, I hear people in the background. Who is that? That would be my neighbors. Try to record with the window open so it's not 80 degrees in here and so that I don't just die of heat stroke. But yeah, for those of you who are wondering, oh, Tugi, you end your streams when you do. Why do you always record your videos after you stream? Because it's late and it's quiet. I don't have to worry about neighbors yelling outside. Anyway, that tangent aside, welcome back. It's time for another episode of my Montreal Canadiens Franchise Mode Series. That's right, I said Montreal Canadiens Franchise Mode Series this time. That was another mistake. The last two episodes, boy, they were something else for so many different reasons. But the good thing is, we are back, and today we take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round of the playoffs. Now, of course, things are looking pretty good. We got our revenge against Buffalo. We swept them. And now the team is back to 100% with Darnell Nurse and Jake Gardiner back in the lineup. I did keep Victor Mete in the lineup instead of Quentin Hughes. And actually, I got to go best lines here to get Hughes back in. And that's simply because Hughes, he won't really lose any morale from being sent down. Mete would, because he's a top six defenseman, whereas Hughes is a depth defenseman. So I do want Victor Mete to be a part of this team moving forward. So I didn't really want to risk that. And actually here, just let me double check if I can manage to hit the right button here. We have to remember to take out Nick Tarnasky. Still one of my favorite names. And we'll put in Samu Jaskalainen. Aside from that, we are pretty much good to go. Of course, we'll keep an eye out on the Laval Rocket in this episode, but the main focus is with our main team, and we're actually going to get right into this series, which is something I haven't done too often lately. Typically, there's a lot more build-up and a lot more dramatics. No, not today. Let's take a look at what we're up against in the form of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and alrighty then. I mean, you might think the first line is the first thing that comes to mind. It's Charlie Coyle that I'm worried about. Every time we trade away a player, somehow, I mean, we had to give up Coyle. We gave up Coyle to get Kasperi Kapanen. We'll see whether or not that works out. Charlie Coyle had 5 goals in the first round. Of course, they went 7 games. So I'm a little bit concerned. But taking a look at the team from the start, you have William Nylander, 87 overall, 5 points in 7 games. Austin Matthews is up to a 91. And Mitch Marner, 88 overall. So that top line is scary. Second line, you have Thomas Tatar with Charlie Coyle and Nazem Kadri. That is a really good second line, I have to admit. Third line, Kirby Reichel, only an 80 overall at this point. I mean, attribute-wise, pretty good. I mean, I'm surprised he's not a higher overall. With that physical category, the puck skills, I'm surprised he's only an 80. That doesn't seem like that should be the case. He is on that third line with Adam Henrique, who had a really good first round, and Dmytro Timashov is there as well. A third line checking forward. I don't understand that. I don't. I'd rather have Reichel on the third line. I mean, they're both on the third line, so who cares? Andreas Johnson? Is it Johnson or Johnson? Man, you never know. You never know. Riley Sheahan and Connor Brown make up the fourth line. Connor Brown down to a 74. That has to be morale related. I mean, he is a third line guy on the fourth line, so he's probably not too happy. I mean, why the game wouldn't just put Kirby Reichel on the fourth line? Who knows? Oh, Christ on a bike. So this is going to be a short episode. I'm honestly a little bit... I'm struggling to find the words, guys. I know. I'm not quite speechless. I think it's impossible for me to be speechless, as you are well aware. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at this, shall we? God, we're gonna get killed. We're gonna get killed. Morgan Riley, 91 overall, on the top pair with Timothy Liljegren. Good Lord. He's a monster. 7 assists in the first round. Second pairing, it doesn't get much easier. Nikita Zaitsev with John Carlson. How did they manage to do that? That is one of the best defense cores I've ever seen an AI team build. And that third pairing, it's nothing to scoff at. Travis Dermott with Ben Sherratt. I mean, a legit top four, a decent third pair. Oh, God. And Frederick, I was going to say Freddie Anderson or Frederick, and it came out Frederick. Frederick Anderson, 85 overall. Here's why they struggled. Only a .908 save percentage in the first round. Now you know what I like to say. We could view that as a positive, like, oh man, Anderson's struggling. We're going to be able to take advantage. The flip side to that is they made it to the second round despite his struggles. So what's going to happen if he gets his game together? Zach Hyman is currently injured. They have two healthy scratches in Andrew Nilsson and Calle Rosen. I'm a lot less confident now, which is typically the case. But I'm like, oh man, we got Nurse back, we got Gardner, we're good to go. And then I look at their team, and I am scared half to death. So this should be interesting, guys. This should be interesting. And again, we will keep an eye out on the Laval Rocket. And actually, you know what? Here, let's sim game 4. They have a chance to sweep the Utica Comets here. Let's see what happens. First period, Jaskalainen gets the opening goal. Markstrom's in goal for the Comets. Second period, it's a 2-1 lead. Cole Lind gets the goal for Utica. Josh Norris restores the lead. And we are going to overtime. Wow, De La Rose and Gravach with the goals. Josh Brooks scored for us. We're just going to hit the A button. Can the Laval Rocket complete the sweep? Yes, they can. Murray high note. 8 minutes into the overtime. Murray high note with the goal. And despite a blown lead or two, the Laval Rocket hold on, and they are moving on to the third round. I wanted to take a look at their team. They obviously had Markstrom in goal. Who else did they have, though? De La Rose, Gravach, Lind, Dorset. I think that's Alan McShane. You got Jonah Gadjevic in the lineup as well. So, I mean, they had a decent team from what I can tell. Some familiar names, but they just didn't have enough. And actually, that wasn't the sweep. I'm sorry. I was mistaken. For some reason, I thought that was a sweep in the first round. It's early. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I got woken up by a fire alarm this morning. No joke. Got woken up by a fire alarm this morning. Swear on my grandfather's grave. It's been an interesting day already. Anyway, game 1. Let's do this. Come on. I gotta recover. This has been a really weird start to this episode. I have to recover here. First period of game 1. Here at and here in Bell Center. I am so off my game. Why do you watch me? I'm the worst. I'm not going to restart this no matter how many, just flubs I've been making here and how many times I've misspoken already. I'm not restarting. I mean, you only get the best quality here. And, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm not, believe it or not. First period. Not the start we wanted. Thomas Tatar with the lone goal. All right, we'll quickly sit in the second period and hope we can get on the board. Nazem Kadri and Thomas Tatar make it 3-0. 3 goals on 14 shots. So, Carey, if you could just, if you could figure things out here, maybe realize that the game started, we might have a chance. Third period, let's go. Comeback time, right? Comeback time. We wasted a power play. They get one of their own. We killed it off. Hooray. Small victories. Take them where you can get them, right? Especially when you're losing now. 4-0. I'm going to hit the A button. It's over. Yeah, 4-0 shutout. 4-0 shutout. What did I tell you about good old Frederick Anderson? 34 save shutout in game 1. God. All right. Remember how I said I was a little bit less optimistic at this point? For good reason. That is just disastrous for us, isn't it? That's not good. It's not good. So you know what I'm going to do is now that I've jinxed... Nope, didn't want to hit play game. Now that I've jinxed the Laval Rocket, let's go ahead and sim through game 4, shall we? Because the Rocket might provide us with the only bright point of this entire episode, if Game 1 is anything to go off of. So, first period here in Game 4 between Laval and Utica. I definitely jinxed them. McShane, Ray, and Zalewski. Carter Bonks makes it 4. Thankfully, Oscar Mahler and Will Bitton ruined the shutout. Well, this has gone downhill quickly for us, hasn't it? Here I am saying, hey, look at the sweep, and I was mistaken because I was looking at the wrong damn team. All right, Game 2. This is, oh boy. I say this often, never have I wanted to restart an episode more than this one. This takes the cake already. Already. This has been an incredible 11 minutes or so. Just incredible. First period of Game 2. Oh, God. I mean, would people be opposed to me restarting at this point? Carlson and 2 goals for Coyle. We are getting ripped apart by their second line. Second period, Jesus. My God. 6 goal second period. Toronto made it 6-0. Charlie Coyle completes the hat trick. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a moment. Charlie Coyle completes the hat trick. Mitch Marner and Riley Sheahan make it 6. And then somehow Gallagher, Nurse, and Pacioretty with a flurry at the end of the period. It's a 6-3 game. God. Make it 7-4. God, do we have to play Shesterkin at this point, Carey? You care to explain what's going on here, buddy? 7-3. This is like who says this game's unrealistic? Toronto putting up 7 goals. Pacioretty makes it 7-4, but that will pretty much do it. Wow. Alrighty then. Carey Price has I told you Charlie Coyle was going to rip us apart. Carey Price has fallen apart already. We're 2 games in. He had an .841 save percentage. Granted, he did face 44 shots, so I guess we'll give him some benefit of the doubt, but good Lord, man. 11 goals in 2 games. How and why? 11 goals in 2 games. Just ridiculous. That's the only way to put it. Oh, God. All right, well, here, let's take a look. Carey has an .891 save percentage. Is it our defense? I mean, Nurse and Dumba are still playing well together. I mean, Jake Gardner's the only minus defenseman. I'm blaming Carey Price more than anything, guys. I'm flat out blaming Carey Price. I don't see how you could view it any other way. Our third line production could be a little bit higher, but I'm blaming Carey Price. We have to go with him. I'm not going to start Shesterkin. It's up to Carey to figure it out. Otherwise, we are screwed if we're not already, because we're already down 2-0 in this series. Again, I think this is probably the episode where I really do feel like, restarting. Oh, God. I've never wanted to script a series of mine. Ever. That's just a general statement. Until now. Until now. Good Lord. All right. We are going to quickly sim through Game 5 of... Actually, here, you know what? Let's just go from... Actually, I can't go from... Well, I can go from the calendar. We'll do it that way, because the in-game sim, it's been 50-50 so far. We will focus, though, on Game 3 between the Habs and Leafs. Let's do this, I guess. Can't exactly say it with the utmost of confidence. Oh, God. First period here of Game 3. That's much better. Carey didn't give up 3 or more goals in the first period. Imagine that. We can actually, try to get some momentum here. Melker Karlsson and Jonathan Drouin. Drouin scored from way outside. I'll take it. 11 shots to 6, and we have the 2-0 lead on the board. Never thought I'd be able to say that at this point. So that's a good start, but we still have a long way to go, and I have no faith in Carey Price right now. This is the second time now in the postseason where he has been a tremendous disappointment. Second period, It's not as bad as it could have been. William Nylander gets a goal back, 23 shots to 13 in our favor. But the lead is down to 1, and now we're tied. Austin Matthews scores 35 seconds into the third period. It's another blown lead for the Habs, and Charlie Coyle makes it 3-2. Oh my God. I told you guys he was going to rip us apart. Gallagher ties it. Kapanen really needs to step up here because we traded Coyle for Kapanen. Smart move because Coyle wasn't going to re-sign. Nick Shore. Again, I'm a little bit speechless. I'm stunned. Absolutely. I stand by the Kapanen for Coyle move. Just know that. But down 3-2, Gallagher ties it, and then with 1 minute to go, Nick Shore gets the game-winning goal. I told you I love that fourth line, and for good reason. Nylander and Matthews, you might be the first 2 stars. That is just disrespectful. That's a diss to Nick Shore. Game-winning goal. Suck it, Toronto. We're not out of this series, surprisingly. Unfortunately, ever since I said Utica was swept, they have won 2 straight games, so I'm a little bit scared now for the Laval Rocket. We will go ahead and we'll keep an eye out on Game 6. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they come back from 3-0 down? First period, they might not, though. Tyler Benson and Will Bitton with the goals. Second period, McShane gets a goal back. I'm a little bit nervous. Now. Third period, we're just going to sim it, and we're going to overtime. Hamilton ties it. I'm just going to hit the button, guys. Overtime, and the Utica Comets. Oh my God, no. The Utica Comets have battled from 3-0 down. I proclaimed the series to be over, and the Comets have forced Game 7. This entire episode is a disaster. God. All right, let's move on here with the NHL series, shall we? Game 4 against Toronto. What is this episode? Oh my God. First period is scoreless for once. 13 shots to 4. That's a victory for Toronto. Second period, that is a major victory for Toronto. Thomas Tatar and William Nylander give the Leafs a 2-0 lead. We're going to jump right into the third period. This episode may just be the death of me. Austin Matthews makes it 3. I mean, Carey, you're killing us here. Like, you are killing us here. My God. Maybe in real life it's not the rest of the Habs that are the problem. Maybe it's Carey Price that's cursed. Another shutout for Freddie Anderson. I don't even care to look at the 3 stars. Another shutout for Anderson, and our backs are now against the wall. Speaking of which, it's time for Game 7 for the Laval Rocket. Oh my God. Please don't do this to me. We're going to need you because the Habs are done for. First period, oh God, Gravach scores again. Second period, okay, Farabee and Jaskalainen gave us the 2-1 lead. Bonks ties it. Third period, we're just going to hit the button, and we're going to overtime in Game 7. Good Lord. Good Lord. I'm just going to hit the button, guys. Can the Rocket move on? Oh, thank God. Murray high note. I thought they scored. I thought Utica scored. Good Lord. Whew. The Laval Rocket avoid disaster after blowing a 3-0 series lead. After I said it was over, after I thought we had swept them. Thankfully, we have a second chance. We have a second chance. Oh my God. Murray high note with the overtime series clinching goal. And at the very least, we will have our AHL team in the third round. I don't think we're going to be able to say the same, though, about the Habs themselves. It's been a great season, a great return to the postseason for us. But, I mean, let's call a spade here, guys. Carey Price has an .886 save percentage. A 93 overall goalie is struggling that much. I'm going with Shesterkin because we got nothing to lose. I don't blame this defense. I don't blame the team in front of him. Carey Price has just thrown... And again, this is not the first time in this series that Carey's kind of thrown it away. You look at the last time we made the playoffs 2 years ago, that first round matchup against Buffalo, .895 save percentage. And then, of course, you look at the year that we went to the Cup, he had a .931 save percentage. We ended up losing to Chicago in the first round. In case you don't remember, I remember vividly. So Carey Price has just not been getting it done for us in the postseason, so we will turn to Igor Shesterkin. And we'll see what he can manage to do for us. No pressure. No pressure at all. We're down 3-1 in this series because our franchise-level goaltender has decided not to show up in today's episode. In fairness, the Laval Rocket decided to almost just give up. So, it's Game 5 on home ice. Can't wait. This should be great. Oh, this should be glorious. First period. Shesterkin at least manages to shut the door. 9 saves. Good job. Second period. 26. Jesus. Are you serious? 17 shots. 17 shots for Toronto in that period. Good Lord. Yet, Shesterkin, keeping us in it. That's a good sign. Third period. Let's go. Season is on the line. This series is on the line. We have a power play chance that we completely waste. We have another one, though. Can we get a look? No, we can't. Nope. Oh, a third one. Please. Thank you, Puljujärvi. How are ya? Glad you managed to score. Third time was the charm. Is that gonna be enough? Holy hell. Igor Shesterkin with the 33 save shutout. Puljujärvi, the lone goal of the game in the third period. And the Habs have forced Game 6. What the hell? I mean, it works for me. I'm glad this series is continuing, but it's that frustration that a 92, 93 overall goalie was struggling that much. We put an 82, 83 overall goalie into the lineup, and we win 1-0. We had been shut out twice previously. So, Now, here's the thing. Right? Shesterkin was able to get us the win. So now we have a decision to make. Do we go with Shesterkin again? Or do I turn the reins back over to Carey Price and potentially die? Is that the hill I want to die on? Giving the reins back to Carey Price. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Shesterkin just got the shutout. But we also have to think, game to game, what goalie gives us the best chance to win. I know Shesterkin just did incredibly well. Price is a little bit snake-bitten. It's actually a tough decision. You know what? We're paying Carey Price $10.5 million. I'm putting Carey back in. Shesterkin was able to get the win to keep this series alive. And now it's Carey Price's turn to actually get the job done. It's going to be Dallas and San Jose out in the West. And in the East, Columbus awaits the winner. Columbus awaits the winner of this series. Carey Price is back in, by the way. The conference final matchup, Laval and Bridgeport, begins on this day. It begins right now. Begins in just a moment, really. Right. So we'll go ahead and sim that. We will jump right in to Game 6. Carey Price, time to show up, buddy. Time to get the job done. Let's see if you can do so. First period of Game 6. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm a little bit less nervous. Nazem Kadri did score 53 seconds in. That is worrying. But then the offense wakes up. Brendan Gallagher, Max Pacioretty, and Jesse Puljujarvi. 3-1 lead at the end of the opening 20. All right. Not too bad. We still have a long way to go, though. I don't know if I can have faith in Carey Price. Second period. All right, we still have the 2-goal lead at the very least. Riley Sheahan made it a 1-goal game. Darnell Nurse restores that 2-goal lead. 4-2 as we begin the third period. We are 20 minutes away from forcing Game 7 back on home ice. Max Pacioretty with a power play goal makes it 5. That should be enough, Carey. That should be enough. We should be good to go. 5 minutes remaining, and barring the most epic of collapses, we're good to go. 2 straight wins in elimination games, and the Habs have forced Game 7, a 5-2 victory. I mean, a great performance there from members of our top 6. And Carey Price, fair play. I put you right back into a tough situation, and you were able to make the most of it. By the way, Laval with a 3-2 win over Bridgeport in Game 1. And that sets up Game 7. That sets up Game 7. I thought we were done for. And I mean, the question is now, realistically, do we let Carey Price play in Game 7, or do we go back to Shesterkin to try and keep Toronto on their heels, alternating goalies? We're going to go with Carey. We have to. I mean, again, when we're paying somebody $10.5 million, it's time for you to prove yourself. This is why we pay you the big bucks. And if you fail in this series, without a doubt, your future here may just be in question. So let's not have that be a concern. We are 60 minutes away from meeting the Columbus Blue Jackets in the Eastern Conference Final, or 60 minutes away from having a great season end in tremendous disappointment, and certainly having a few questions about the future of Carey Price in Montreal. Let's go. Game 7 on home ice against Toronto. Let's do this. Oh, God. Here we go. First period. I just... 4 goals on 9 shots. Charlie Coyle, Timothy Liljegren, Dmytro Timashov, and with 2 seconds to go, Mitch Marner. Second period. What am I supposed to say to this? It was such a promising season. We swept Buffalo, only to have the $10.5 million goaltender completely let us down. And say what you want about, not putting a puck past Freddie Anderson, despite having 35 shots. This loss is solely on the shoulders of Carey Price. We come back to force Game 7. Toronto wins it 7-0. 3 times we were shut out in that series. 3 times. So again, typically you'd like to blame the offense, but we know the shot totals in those games. They were more of a goaltender's duel. And Carey Price broke before Frederik Andersen. And for that, we certainly have questions moving forward. I don't know what to say. I really don't. Carey Price should be just... Guys, that'll do it for this one. Next episode, we'll follow along with the Laval Rocket. Maybe take a look at some extra stats. We'll go through the draft. And I mean, as far as what changes we make to this team, I'm not sure if there'll be sweeping changes. You may see someone like Jake Gardiner get moved out to make room for Quentin Hughes. But aside from that, I'm going to look to keep the same team together for the most part. But is Carey Price a part of those plans after his last 2 postseason performances? I'm not entirely sure.